Now, celebrating all things cool in Jacksonville, a local show with a spotlight on the 904 with hosts Eden Kendall and Mark Payton, featuring amazing stories from every neighborhood with Rance Adams. This is River City Live.
Hi there. Hello and welcome to River City Live. Who's got the Fridays in there? The Friday.
I think we all have a case of the Fridays.
Yes, no doubt. So Sunday is National Baby Back Rib Day. Did you know that?
I love my baby back, baby back.
I knew that. I'm all about ribs.
Yeah, you know why.
Well, we want to make sure everyone can celebrate. So you're heading into the Winn-Dixie Kitchen to make us some ribs?
That's right. Yeah, Labor Day weekend, National Baby Back Day is on Sunday. Labor Day is on Monday. So we got you covered with a really easy recipe that the whole family will love on ribs. And also coming up in the show, Beautifully Divine Signs, okay? Mm-hmm. You're going to do this project, and we had to figure out, like, what would be a good one for you to make?
Mm-hmm. I love all the things that you make.
And this one says you all over it.
Here, let's like we're presenting her with, like, your award.
How did you know I like wine?
So we're going to see how close you could get to this. Also, Alley Cakes. Allie Webb is on from Alley Cakes. Rance, you're our little cupcake, and you're all about the sweets. So
yeah, I'm gonna
making
be
some
down
Pop-Tarts in a little bit.
Be down for some sweets, and I went to this new art house that's opened up over here in the it's between Riverside and Lackawanna neighborhood. Really interesting concept. So yeah, we got a great show today.
Oh, and you know what else? A lot of people are familiar with the Volstead downtown.
Yeah.
That little watering hole that was supposed to be closing, but kind of like when a TV show is about to be canceled and the public just goes nuts. That's kind of what happened, and we're going to tell you what did indeed happen and why the Volstead is not closing and what they're going to be doing about it.
Orange Park Farmers Market starts up this weekend. We're going to have all the details. We really do. We have a stacked show, so stay tuned.
We've got a lot of stuff because it is a Labor Day weekend. And are you laboring today? Are you stressed out? Are you really in need of this weekend? Maybe you have one of the most stressful jobs out there, right?
I'm all about a 3-day weekend, and it's interesting because CareerCast just put out a list of the top 10 most stressful jobs out there, and I'm just going to give you a couple of them. One is a salesperson. That makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
That's
There's
number
quota
one.
on you, you know, dealing with a lot of people.
Yeah, you know.
Projection, commission-based.
Yeah, kind of like what we deal with on a daily. Middle and high school teachers, obvious, right? Radio and TV broadcasters. What?
I could say something here. TV, yeah. Radio, and I'm speaking from experience because I still do that every single day. That's a piece of cake compared to TV. TV is so much harder than radio.
I'm just trying to imagine. I mean, we have some stressful moments and maybe more news.
Yeah, I think news I mean, look at this. Mick Galucci is out there.
Yeah, he's down in
Houston. I mean, there are a lot of people who are really.
I get. You know, I get that for the news side of it, especially when you're on assignment. But if you look at some of these others on the list, news, I guess, was more stressful, according to this list, than police officers or firefighters. Like, I don't get that at all.
Enlisted military
personnel.
personnel.
I don't get that at all, yeah.
So, you know, kudos to them for what you do, you know, especially down in Houston. Now, there's also a list of the top 10 happiest jobs, and that's according to Career Bliss and Forbes. And two that really stick out, customer service. I don't see that as bliss.
That would be number one stressful for me.
I know.
I'm saying, I've done customer service. It's not a party. And,
what else?
And then it said teacher. But didn't we just say teachers are having the most stressful job? Maybe it's elementary teachers.
Well, I bet you it's a very satisfying career, though. You probably feel good about what you do at the end of the day. You know, have you guys? What was the most stressful job that you guys have had out of all your careers?
Okay, I worked at a laundromat between high school and college before I was going away, and basically I had to just sit there all day long and take in dry cleaning, but every now and again someone would bring in a wash, dry, and fold order, and I was instructed to do their laundry, which I thought that was so stressful to do somebody else's laundry.
I wouldn't want to. It sounds gross.
I wouldn't want to, but it also is like kind of scary.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to mess it up.
Or
their whites come back pink. I'm like, I mixed these up.
Or you don't know what they have in their laundry, and you're like, oh my goodness.
That might be why I hate laundry as much as I hate it, because I really hate it.
See, my most stressful, I worked at a car rental agency years ago, and it was all about, you know, selling like the extra perks, or actually not a perk, but like the damage waiver and all that, and where our location was. It wasn't a good fit, and I'm the person that's like, oh, you don't want it? All right, take your own rent. You take 3 no's. I am not that. I don't want anybody badgering me. I'm not going to badger them. So, yeah, that was stress for me.
So that's why salesperson is so high on the most stressful
Definitely,
list.
yeah. No, I get that.
And what about you?
You know, I worked for a catering company when I was in high school, and we did things like weddings, and that was tough, just to bring out the food, and then you were like the front person, so if someone didn't like the dish, you got yelled at, or if they wanted more wine, you had to be that person like, well, they only bought 1 bottle of wine, and sometimes people would yell at you and be like, here's $20, go get me a bottle of wine, you know, and it's like, you can't do that stuff. And with the catering company, the other part of it, they also did catering for bingo nights. And I had this cart that had this huge thing of coffee on it, you know, stainless steel coffee things, all these desserts and candy bars. And you had to do the math in your head with change. And those bingo, and I say bingo ladies because they were all ladies, and there were about 1,000 ladies packed in this place. Man, they were like kind of mean, like you know, kitchen. That's what they would address you. They'd call you kitchen, you know, and you would wave. So I'm pushing this cart, like I'm sweating. They're like, I want a piece of cake, a Kit Kat bar, and a small coffee. And I'm like, oh, and I couldn't do the math in my head, and I'm making a mess. Oh, I'm like sweating just thinking about it.
You didn't just flash those eyes at him like, yes, lady.
I know.
And it was just like,
these ladies are all about the food. Not this.
And the bingo.
They wanted the sugars, yeah, and the bingo,
And
yeah.
the bingo. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure
They
there's a
would
lot of
play
this, too.
like 50 cards at once.
Yeah.
You know, they were just like machines. But yeah, that. Ooh. Glad to be out of that industry.
Not into
It's a
it.
tough industry. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Kitchen. It still haunts me.
Kitchen. I'm going to call you kitchen from now on.
Yes,
You just watch,
yes.
especially today when you're in the Winn-Dixie kitchen. I'm just going to be like, let's check in with kitchen. In the kitchen. All right, I don't know what weirdness happens in the morning when I'm still over at the radio station, but these guys are all here and they're talking amongst themselves, and really no good comes of it.
Okay, so if you go to our Facebook page, River City Live TV, we have there, it's a post, and it is, which is the best Chris? Now, I got to break this out. It's Friday, and we're all kind of feeling a little weird. So basically, this morning, there's 4 guys. It's Rance, myself, Justin, our executive producer, and then Ryan, our director. And Ryan was talking about how he saw Wonder Woman and just like, oh, wow, I couldn't take my eyes off that screen. And I'm like, because Chris Pine, right, as a joke. And he's like, oh, I don't find Chris Pine attractive. He's like, I like Chris Evans. I'm like, whoa. Chris Pine versus Chris Evans. So then we start talking about all the Chris, naturally, because that's what you're going to do in the morning. So we brought up Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, with obviously that personality and his boyish charm. He's got to be up the list. So these are the 4 that we have, and we were all kind of debating on which is the best Chris. Again, 4 grown men talking about this on a Friday morning.
Wait, you have to put this in. And so our producer Abby was in there, and she's just cracking up like, this is my morning. This is what I have to deal with.
So we have a studio full of ladies right now, so I need everybody to, by show of applause here. Let's start out with, in the upper corner, it was Chris Hemsworth. So let's hear for Chris.
Is that your favorite Chris? Chris Hemsworth.
That's me clapping. Okay, you can only clap for
me
one.
too, yeah.
My man.
Chris Pratt.
Oh, God.
Okay, there's
So
one.
that was just one loud person.
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine. Okay.
Okay.
Another one
Chris
single loud
Evans.
person. And
Chris
Chris Evans.
Okay.
Crickets, exactly.
Captain America.
So wait, hold on, because the debate got heated, okay? Because 2 gentlemen, I won't say their names, were all about Chris Evans. And I'm like, Captain America? I'm like, I'm not seeing it. I'm getting in my ear, our director.
Trying to get his point across.
Yeah, exactly.
Our ear.
But that was our debate, which is kind of odd. And because Abby came in a little bit later to the conversation, and I'm just glad I was on the same, her logic was my logic, and our logic was pretty much the same.
And so it's blowing up on our Facebook page, so we want to hear your thoughts on it as well. Go ahead. We'd like to have these conversations. We like the interaction on our River City Live page. So
for me, it's for sure Chris Hemsworth. Like number 1 with a bullet.
All right, so go down to your 4.
Okay, in first place, it's Chris Hemsworth. Although, if I had to choose, I'd probably choose Chris Pratt because he is more all-around guy.
So that's your number 2.
Yeah. So, well, he might be, yeah.
So 1A.
And then Chris Pine and then Chris Evans.
That's
So
exactly how
it's
Mark and I were. So
Yeah.
we're all simpatico.
No,
Okay, so if I was to pick a roommate, boy, this is getting weird. I would go with Chris Pratt, because I feel like we'd get along.
Yeah.
He's just got that personality,
Yeah.
so but
But I have seen stuff with Chris Hemsworth, and he has a personality too. So
And an accent.
Oh yeah, you talk about wingman.
I hate to say that, but I brought that up in my debate. I said, but that accent, though. And he could pull off the long hair and the short hair. Very versatile in his looks.
Yeah, he does. He has all that going for him. Yesterday, we were joined by comedian Ralphie May. And
there we go. Let's switch this topic.
We attempted to bring up a topic about kids' sleeping times, and it lasted for about 5 seconds and then went completely off the rails. So, Mark, what were you trying to say yesterday?
Yeah, so, okay, with kids going back to school, it's really hard for parents to get sleep hygiene going. Basically, what time kids should go to bed and what time they should wake up. Well, Wilson Elementary School in Kenosha, Wisconsin, they came up with this chart that makes a lot of sense. And you could figure out the age of the kid, what time they should go to bed, and what time they should wake up. So they kind of mapped it out. Now, I wonder if this school was having problems with kids that were just being bad, where they gave this to parents. And basically, this overlaps very nicely with the American Academy of Pediatrics of what they say. If you're 3 to 5, you should get around 10 to 13 hours of sleep, which seems crazy. It seems like a lot. And if you're 6 to 12, you should be okay with about 9 to 12 hours of sleep. And it's interesting because, again, all kids just went back to school, so their hours might be a little off. And then here's the thing, we're going into a 3-day weekend right now where kids could kind of drift away from the schedule we just got them set on.
You know what that chart is really good for, too? It's nice sometimes, our pediatrician actually told us this, that sometimes you should say it's a house rule versus it's your rule. So if you have 2 kids 2 different ages and they're asking you, why do I go to bed at this time and he goes to bed at that time? Sometimes it's nice to blame society or the rules, you know, or the doctor. Well, this is, here's a chart from the doctor. And when you get to this age, then you can stay up that late.
That's a good idea, to have the cutoffs. It's kind of like our cards. We go to our cards, like science says it.
Don't get me wrong, I'm a big, because I said so, mom. I'm just saying sometimes it's nice if you don't have to have the battle.
Yeah, you don't have to be the bad guy in every...
Right.
Here's the thing, though, right now with kids, especially as they get to like 5 or 6, because a lot of them have internet access, they could go and they could do their own research. And like, well, actually, studies show that 9 hours is more than, you know what I mean?
This doctor in Thailand says I'm going to be fine.
Exactly.
I don't know about that.
But it seems like a lot of sleep, though, for some of these. You know, 10 to 13 hours of sleep for, basically a toddler.
Yeah. I mean, what time did you guys go to bed? I remember distinctly, 3rd grade, I think I finally did like 9 p.m. And then Monday Night Football, if the Cowboys were playing, like, can I stay up till halftime? That kind of thing. And then after that, it kind of, once you got to middle school, all bets were off.
There were so many kids in my family, and my parents didn't know. And as long as we were quiet, they didn't care. So that's basically
right. You couldn't staggered bedtime times at your house must have been crazy.
Fraternity and sorority house all in one.
Wow.
You had to tuck yourselves in.
Okay, so rants at the top of the show.